tell our listeners about the journey you guys went on to make a decision about installing what we're calling now the ChurchOS One Team Toolkit. What was that like? How did you guys get there? Why did you end up deciding to do it? Kind of walk our listeners through that.
Yeah, it's a great question. So again, our lead pastor is Sean. And I would say there was about 2 years before we actually started our journey with One Team that Sean was ready for it. And the rest of us were not. So in all this switch of staff in 2023, our previous executive minister, Jeremy, that's when we kind of split this role. So he became the executive of operations, and I became the executive of ministries. He and I like to say that he oversees everything non-breathing in the church, all the policies and procedures and systems, and I oversee everything breathing in the church, all the people, the staff and the people. And so we do a lot together. But when we were walking through the first conversations about, did we want to do this, our church staff had a little bit of leftover hurt from bringing in outside organizations to guide us through things. Shortly before the transition of our previous lead pastor, we had some outside organizations with great intentions and actually did some things, but think they were coming in to maybe tell us who we were. And that was hard for a lot of people. And so our staff, we were really worried about how would staff react. And we said, hey, we're bringing in this outside organization to help us. And so we kind of prayed through that. Jeremy and I were like, hey, I don't know that we're ready. I don't know if now's the right time. But then when we made that switch to two executives, I did my best for the first 6 months or so in this role, and we're making progress. But then we thought, okay, we've got the capacity. I really, at that point, was like, hey, I'm anxious for some tools, for some support, for some structure of how to lead this team well. And so that's when we decided to pull the trigger and thought that the One Team would be a great opportunity for us into getting what we needed to move us in the right direction. So it took probably about 2 years of going back and forth. Are we ready? Is the staff ready? How do we prepare the staff for this? How do we present this to the staff in a way that it will be well received? And so here we are, a year in, and it's been great.
Well, I know Aaron's got another question here in a minute, but thanks for trusting IC and myself and the team with it, because, we hear that a lot, that there have been there are really great consultants out there that come into churches, but our approach is so different. It's not we try never to sit in the expert seat. Like, how do we help a team become who God's calling them to be, not force them to template or become like some other church. So just grateful that you guys would trust us with it. So
yeah, that's cool. So you've been running this for a year and a half now-ish, right? What are some of the victories or wins or celebrations that you've seen on the other side of the install and kind of running ChurchOS?
Yeah, I actually say that it helped me figure out how to do my job. That's it gave me the tools to do my role well. And I am the activator. So I got to really dig into all of these things. Our first VIP was the engagement pathway. And so we dove right into that, and we actually broke it up into 2 different VIPs, kind of the first half of the engagement pathway and the second half. And so huge wins right there. And what was exciting is the way that we worked on those VIPs, shared with staff as we were going. But then we came back, and at the end of the VIP, when we were done, we let that VIP team share with, we call it our directional team. I'm sure every church has different names for it, but share with our directional team and then share with the staff. And it was a big celebration of look what we've done. Look at the work that's happened. And also here's what everybody needs to know, the things that affect people of language and communication. But so we've had some big victories on the tangible things. So the engagement pathway, then our second VIP was relational evangelism, which also really well run, really well done. And it helped us. I mean, we're 9 months past when we actually run it, and we're still seeing some fruits and first time actually things happening through that, some sermon series and some teachings coming out of that. So again, that was really great. But I think as much as anything, it for us has been, I want to say we've been able to evaluate, if sacred cows, if that's the right word, right? Okay, so that's been a win for us, is because we had some long-standing things that we just did them because that's what Sherwood Oaks does. And nobody wanted to be the one to make the change, right? Like, I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole, right? Like, we're just going to let them keep doing what they're doing. But when we had the tools and when we had the language and when the entire staff was in this together, like, hey, let's use some of these tools. Who is this for? What is it doing? And so I think that's some of our biggest victories is the tools that we have to evaluate as a staff, and even inviting volunteers into that. It has allowed us to have some of the harder conversations in a really healthy way and to make changes that were probably long overdue, but we didn't want to rock the boat. And so now we feel like we can rock the boat well and make the changes that we need to make.